Yeah.
Yeah.
So as you can imagine, over the years, once we became, they came out here and they wanted us to do, we reformed.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. Wasn't the band like in ashes? You guys were scattered and not even.
We self-imploded yet again.
And that was in 91 or 90. When was that?
Yeah, it was very early 90s.
Okay.
Guns N' Roses was on the Use Your Illusion tour, so that was 92. So you're somewhere around the early 90s.
Real quick, I want to go back. I think that it later came out called Guns N' Roses Lies. But it was on the band's early label, Uzi Suicide. They released that Live Like a Suicide, and that had a whole lot of Rosie. It had Nice Boys. It had an Aerosmith cover.
Mama Kin.
Mama Kin, that's right. Thank you, Dave. And then it had a few Guns songs. Yeah, and I wore that fucking thing out, and I was so happy because that band was mine. I was like, they're talking my language. Oh my God. And that would have been in 87. So
it was sooner than 87 because
86
Appetite came out. Yeah. Appetite for Destruction. That's why I asked Angry.
Right.
So the first thing Guns N' Roses ever released was Live Like a Suicide, and that predates Appetite for Destruction, which came out in 87.
And it had a fucking Rose Tattoo song on it.
Live Like a Suicide had a Rose Tattoo song on it. And then when Appetite for Destruction blew up, they repackaged Live Like a Suicide and added some acoustic songs, and they put out this album or an EP called Lies, Lies, Lies.
Right.
And because they were the biggest band on the planet at that time, the whole world heard Rose Tattoo.
Yes.
A lot of people for the very first time because Guns N' Roses was huge. And that would have been 88, 89, about when Andrew was talking about. Yeah. So that's why I asked him, when was he first aware? Was he aware at the time of Live Like a Suicide, or was it more after the Appetite for Destruction phenomenon and then the Lies, Lies, Lies?
Well, it was in 89.
Okay, so that would have been...
Because, there was a lot of record company people there. And some of them knew who I was.
Sure.
But they were there for that show because, like when I say, it was a pretty prestigious lineup. It was it was a new concept to me, but it was a showcase.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
So,
okay. Yeah.
So both Faith No More and the Gunners, and I think even Burning Tree might have been just recently signed, or they'd be signed, and so it was just pre the whole thing exploding because there they were in this like a hall in the suburbs, like downtown. But it wasn't like a club.
Okay.
And they were, and there must have been like, if 1,000 people, there would only be like 1,000 people, maybe even less, maybe 800. But
wow, that sounds like a private party or something.
Yeah, maybe it was
little
too.
bit.
Yeah,
Table showcase.
Because there was a lot of record company people there.
Yeah.
But that was sort of, they were sort of just coming out, apart from, because there was a tiny little bit of a hint of the sort of the teased hair and but they weren't they were starting to wear they were wearing things like leather and like chaps, and I think it might have been Duff. I remember Duff says. Duff, with the Reformation, it was so funny. He paid us the great compliment in Duff style. And this is going back a few years, and they were out here. We were doing the opening slot, and they said, look, come back and see us, before the show. We just want to, after sound check in the afternoon, we want to hang out a bit and talk shit. And anyway, we were there, and there was a couple of people there, and so you guys go way back. Someone said that this is one of the American entourage, and Duff said, if I can quote him almost verbatim, he said, "Way back, we stole all their shit."
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, good on Duff for admitting it.
Yeah.
Fucking absolutely. But see, we've always enjoyed that relationship. Like, anyway, getting back to that showcase night,
Yeah.
I heard the story later from Axel's brother. He said, man, they were fucking bummed but freaked out. Like, anyway, someone must have said to them, like, it's like a lot of record company people. But anyway, getting back to we'd gone out in between Faith No More and Guns N' We'd had a joint, and, you know, like most people, I get the munchies like fucking fierce. And so we watched the set, and it was fantastic. It was really, really good. And I've said immediately after they finished, I said, fuck, let's go. I've got to have a beer and a pizza. So we left straight away. And there was about 4 or 5 of us. But his brother stayed.
Yeah. Because,
you know, he wanted to go and say hello to his brother. And so he must have gone backstage and said, I was here with blah, 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 and Angry Anderson from Rose Tattoo. And they've gone, fuck, what the? Was he out there? And they said, yeah. You know, his brother said, yeah. He said he was here, but he's gone. They went to get pizza. And then years later, they told me the story. They said, we were fucking chuffed that you were there. And they were sort of freaked out because, like, what did I think of them playing our shit, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
I have a little bit of a interjectory here. I give Guns N' Roses all of the credit for, you know, recording Nice Boys in the mid-'80s, to be safe, and it's sort of introducing a lot of people who didn't have Kerrang! Magazine in their history book in 1980 and reading about Rose Tattoo. So I got a record deal in '88, and I was in Los Angeles recording in the Valley at Sound City. And so every night we'd go out and see bands play, of course, because it's 5 guys from Texas who've never fucking been anywhere and never had any money. We're going to soak it all up and get crazy, right? Yeah. Dude, every fucking band covered a Rose Tattoo song. And some, you know, we'd see 3 bands, 4 bands in a row. Every one of them would play Rock and Roll Outlaw. All of them. And I was like, don't these guys call each other and say, oh fuck, we wore the same shirt? You know, they need to call each other and go, are you guys playing it tonight? Yeah, you guys can't play it, it's already on our set list, you know. But everywhere I'd go to a whole nother club the same night, someone would play Rock and Roll Outlaw. And I was like, fuck.
Well, that's tragic, isn't it?
Yeah, well, but it's all, you know what, man? It's also fucking awesome. It's also beautiful, too. It's beautiful.
It's the coolest thing.
In Junkyard, have you heard of a band called Junkyard? No, okay. Yeah. Okay, they cover your shit, too. They do Bad Boy for Love. They do One of the Boys. I know they've done Rock and Roll Outlaw. Oh yeah, and I went to high school with the singer, and they, you know, him and his buddies moved out to Hollywood and got a record deal, and around the same time that my shit happened, and we're all fans of your shit.